Hello everyone, I am Subhalakshmi. Welcome all of you to this channel. In this video, I will discuss 20 multiple choice question on the topic of economic importance of algae with their proper explanation, right? You should join in the Telegram group that is based of botany so that you can freely attend the quiz in every Sunday. So before we get into the discussion, let's start from a beautiful message. The more I look inwards, the less I look outwards. The more I do self checking, the less I blame others. So, every time we look outwards and blame other people for what we feel, we create a cage for ourselves. Every time we do self checking and take self responsibility, then we break the cage of the dependency. Okay, see the first question. Aonori is a Japanese food obtained from option A. Porphyra, option B. Chlorella, option C. Monostroma, option D. Rhodymenia. Here the correct answer is option C, that is Monostroma. We know Monostroma is a genus of marine green algae and it is the most widely cultivated genus among green seaweeds. It is edible, that's eaten in many parts of the world. For example, in Japan, Monostroma is used to prepare a food called anori, right? And in Korea, edible Monostroma is used to prepare a food called pare, okay? So here the correct answer is option C. And remember, Monostroma and another algae, that is olva, both are called green lever, right? Then see the other option, that is Porphyra. We know Porphyra is a genus of red algae. A special type of food called nori or amanori is generally prepared from Porphyra tenera in Japan, right? Then another species of Porphyra, that is Porphyra umbilicalis, which is commonly called lever. Why? Because the food lever bread is prepared from Porphyra umbilicalis. Right? Then in option B, that is Chlorella. We know Chlorella is a unicellular green algae that's high in protein, vitamins, minerals and other nutrients. So it is used as food supplement. Then in the option D, that is Rhodymenia. Rhodymenia is a genus of red algae and it can be eaten as food or used as soup or flavoring for other foods. And here remember a other important name of a food, that is kumbo. Kumbo is a Japanese food prepared from the brown algae, that is laminaria. Okay. So here the correct answer is option C, that is anori is a Japanese food obtained from the Monostroma. Then next question, the famous Japanese dish sushi is made with the help of the red algae named Nemallion, option B Porphyra, option C Chondros, option D Gracilaria. Here the correct answer is option B, that is Porphyra. Sushi dish in Japan prepared from Porphyra, which is called nori, right? We just discussed about it that nori is a dried seaweed seed typically made from the species of the red algae, that is Porphyra, and it is commonly used to warp the sushi rolls. Okay, so here the correct answer is option B. Then see the other option, that is Nemallion. Nemallion is a genus of red algae. It has been used in food and as a source of bioactive compounds. Then in the option C, that is Chondros. We know Chondros crypsus, commonly called Irish moss or Carrageenan moss. It is a species of red algae which grows abundantly along the rocky part of the coastal area. It is an industrial source of carrageenan, commonly used as a thickener and stabilizer in milk product such as ice cream and processed food. Okay. Then in the last option, that is Gracilaria. Gracilaria is a red algae and it is mainly cultivated and harvested for agar production, right? And it is also being used as food in soup and salads in several countries. But here the famous Japanese dish sushi is made with the help of the red algae Porphyra. Okay. Then next question, which among the following is a pathogenic algae for humans? Option A Prototheca, option B Chlorella, option C Cephalurus, option D Acanthopeltis. Here the correct answer is option A, that is Prototheca. So Prototheca is a member of green algae and it is known to cause infection in humans called protothecosis, right, which can manifest as skin lesions or joint infection also. So the algae Prototheca is pathogenic to humans. Then see the other option, that is Chlorella. We know Chlorella is a unicellular green algae and it is used as food supplement due to presence of proteins, vitamins, minerals and other nutrients. Then in the option C, that is Cephalurus. Cephalurus is a genus of parasitic thalloid green algae that infect plants, not harmful to humans, right? And it causes red rust of tea plant, coffee plants and in mango plants also, right? Then in the last option, that is Acanthopeltis. Acanthopeltis is a genus of red algae and it is not parasitic algae. Okay. So here the correct answer is option A, that is Prototheca is pathogenic algae for humans. Then question number 4. Agar and carrageenan are polymers of glucose, phosphoric acid, starch or galactose. Here the correct answer is option D, that is galactose. We know agar is a polysaccharide which is extracted from the red seaweed like Gelidium and from Gracilaria. So agar is composed of two main components, that is agarose and agaropectin. Agarose, which is a linear polysaccharide of alternating galactose and 3,6 anhydrogalactose units, and agaropectin, which is more complex molecule with additional sulfate groups. Okay. Then carrageenan. Carrageenan is composed of galactose residues and it is mainly extracted from the red algae, that is Chondrus crispus. So here agar and carrageenan are polymers of galactose. Okay. Then next question, which of the following species produces neurotoxin which causes the death of aquatic animals? Option A Chlorella, option B Goniulax, option C Prototheca, option D Cephalurus. Here the correct answer is option B, that is Goniulax. We know Goniulax is a genus of dinoflagellates. The name of the potent neurotoxin released by Goniulax is saxitoxin. Okay, and saxitoxin which kill the large number of marine fishes and invertebrates. However, marine shellfishes feed on large amount of Goniulax remain unharmed. Okay, and eating such poisoned shellfishes by human causes a fatal paralysis called PSP or paralytic shellfish poisoning. And here another important about this algae, that is it is a red dinoflagellate, undergoes rapid multiplication, increase in their population, makes the sea appear red. This is responsible for the occurrence of the red tide. So red tide caused by the dinoflagellates. Okay. Then see the next question. Alginic acid is obtained from option A green algae, option B red algae, option C brown algae, option D golden algae. Here the correct answer is option C, that is brown algae. We know the cell wall of brown algae contain cellulose-like material called algin. Chemically, algin is the calcium salt of alginic acid. Okay, and alginates are the salt of alginic acid derived from the cell wall of the brown algae. For example, fucus, laminaria, etc. Okay, and these are gelatinous substance used as thickener in shampoo, toothpaste, cosmetic, ice cream, etc. Okay. So here the correct answer is option C. Alginic acid is obtained from the brown algae. And here remember, iodine, potassium and sodium are also extracted from the brown algae. Then bromine, agar and carrageenan are extracted from the red algae. Okay. Then question number 7. Glycerol, sorbitol and dulcitol are commonly found from which algae? Option A brown algae, option B red algae, option C green algae, option D golden algae. Here the correct answer is option B, that is red algae. We know red algae contain glycerol, which is a component of glyceroglycolipids, which are major metabolites in marine red algae. Okay. Then red algae also contains sorbitol, which is a sugar that's also found in some fruits and leaves of higher plant. Then dulcitol is one of the photosynthetic product of the red algae. Okay, so here the correct answer is option B. Then see the next question. The algal forms occurring on the surface of soil called option A xerophytes, option B aerophytes, option C cryptophytes, option D sapophytes. Here the correct answer is option D, that is sapophytes. So what is sapophytes? Generally, the algal forms occurring on the surface of the soil are called sapophytes. For example, few species of Vaucheria, Botridium, Frischella and Odocladium are common example of sapophytes. Okay. See the other option, that is xerophytes. We know xerophytes means that have adapted to survive in dry environment. Okay. Then in the option B, that is aerophytes. The algal forms as are adapted for aerial mode of life and occur on the tree trunk, moist wall, flower pot and get their water and carbon dioxide requirement completely directly from the atmosphere are called aerophytes. Okay. Then in the option C, that is cryptophytes. Cryptophytes are the algal genera having subterranean habitat. It means they occur inside the soil. For example, few species of nostoc, anabena and euglena also. Okay. Then question number 9. The algae which is a xanthophysian member shows rhizopodial unicellular motile thallus. Option A rhizocrysis, option B chrysamoeba, option C rhizochloris, option D botridium. Here the correct answer is option C, that is rhizochloris. Rhizochloris is a genus of yellow-green algae that is the member of Xanthophyceae. Okay, they are unicellular and motile, and the thallus type is rhizopodial forms. Rhizopodial forms means they lack rigid cell wall and have cytoplasmic projection called rhizopodia that help them in amoeboid movement. So, rhizochloris shows the rhizopodial unicellular motile thallus. Okay. Then see the other option, that is rhizochrysis. Rhizochrysis is also a rhizopodial unicellular motile forms of algae, but it is not a Xanthophycean member. It belongs to the algal class Chrysophyceae. Okay. Then in the option B, that is Chrysamoeba, it is also a Chrysophycean member. And Chrysamoeba also shows the rhizopodial unicellular motile form of thallus. So, Rhizochrysis and Chrysamoeba are Chrysophycean member but not belongs to the algal class Xanthophyceae. Then in the option D, that is Botridium. Botridium is a Xanthophycean member, but the thallus is not rhizopodial unicellular type. Here, the thallus organization is siphonaceous form. That means creating a tube-like thallus organization with many nuclei. Okay. So here the correct answer is option C. Then question number 10. Which is a green algae? Parasites on the leaves of Arisarum vulgare. Option A, Phyllosiphon. Option B, Harvella. Option C, Phyllobium. Option D, Cephalurus. Here the correct answer is option A, that is Phyllosiphon. Remember, Phyllosiphon arisari is a genus of green algae and parasite on the leaves of the Arisarum vulgare. It induces necrosis in the leaf tissue of Arisarum. Okay, and most members of the Phyllosiphon are parasitic green algae that inhabit the leaves of the plant in the family Araceae. The thallus of Phyllosiphon consists of branched siphonal filament which penetrate the space between leaf parenchyma cells. Inside the leaves, they cause yellowish green spot. They remain greenish in color even when the leaf dries. Okay. So here the correct answer is option A, that is Phyllosiphon, which is a green algae and parasite on the leaves of Arisarum vulgare. Then see the other option, that is Harvella. It is a genus of red algae and it is a colorless red algae which lack photosynthetic pigment and hence live as parasite on other photosynthetic red algae. Okay, so Harvella is found heterotrophically as parasite on other autotrophic photosynthesizing red algae. Okay. Then in the option C, that is Phyllobium. Phyllobium is a genus of green algae and it is endophytic algae that is growing in the dead or rarely living leaves of the some vascular plant or in some bryophytes. For example, Phyllobium spagnicola is living as a parasite on the bryophyte Sphagnum. Okay. Then in the last option, that is Cephalurus. We know Cephalurus is a parasitic and epiphytic green algae and which is commonly called red rust. Why? Because they are responsible for the causation of red rust disease in tea plant. Okay. Then question number 11. Which algal source used in insulation of refrigerators and in soundproof room? Option A, alginates. Option B, diatomite. Option C, carrageenan. Option D, agar. Here the correct answer is option B, that is diatomite. We know diatomite, also called Keisulghar, it is a rock-like deposit of siliceous frustulu, that is the cell wall of fossilized diatoms. Okay, diatomite is used in the preparation of explosive, cement, bleaching powder, cosmetics, and chocolates. They are also used in insulation of refrigerators, boilers, and for packing corrosive chemicals. Okay, and it is also used for the constructing of the soundproof roof. So here the correct answer is option B, that is diatomite, which is a algal source used in the insulation of refrigerators and in soundproof room. Okay. Then in the option A, that is alginates. We know the cell wall of the brown algae contain cellulose-like material called algin. Chemically, algin is the calcium salt of alginic acid, and alginates are the salt of alginic acid derived from the cell wall of the brown algae, for example, fucus, laminaria, etc. Okay. Then in the option C, that is carrageenan. Carrageenan is a sulfated phycocolloid similar to agar found in the cell wall of the red algae, for example in Chondrus crypsus, which is commonly called Irish moss, and it has been used as stabilizer or emulsifier in foods. Then in the last option, that is agar. Agar is a jelly-like complex polysaccharide stored in the cell wall of the certain red algae, for example Calidium, Gracilaria, etc. Then next question, which algae is parasite that can affect a variety of aquatic plants, bryophytes and marine algae? Option A, Chlorochytrium. Option B, Phyllosiphon. Option C, Polysiphonia. Option D, Phyllobium. Here the correct answer is option A, that is Chlorochytrium. Chlorochytrium, it is a genus of green algae. It is endophytic or parasitic in aquatic vascular plant, bryophytes or marine algae. For example, Chlorochytrium lemni is a parasite that infect the aquatic plant lemna. So here Chlorochytrium is parasite that can affect a variety of aquatic plant, bryophytes and marine algae also. Then see the other option, that is Phyllosiphon. We just discussed about that. That is Phyllosiphon arisari is a genus of green algae and parasite on the leaves of the Arisarum vulgare. Okay. Then option C, that is Polysiphonia. We know Polysiphonia is a genus of red algae and shows multi-axial type of thallus organization. Then in the option D, that is Phyllobium. We know Phyllobium is a genus of green algae and it is endophytic and also act as parasite to certain bryophytes. For example, Phyllobium spagnicola is living as a parasite on the Bryophyta sphagnum. Okay, but here that is the Chlorochytrium is parasitic algae that can affect a variety of aquatic plants, bryophytes and also various marine algae. Okay. Then next question, who worked on algae physiology and also studied genetic recombination in blue-green algae? Option A, F. E. Fritsch. Option B, T. V. Desikacharya. Option C, S. D. Kumar. Option D, G. M. Smith. Here the correct answer is option C, that is Professor Hardarshan Kumar is a famous Indian algologist who has contributed a lot mainly on blue-green algae. Okay. Then see the other option, that is F.E. Fritsch. Professor Felix Eugene Fritsch was a British biologist and more specifically an algologist whose contribution are the landmark in algal research. So he is also called father of algae. He is internationally known for his contribution in the study of algae, and he is best known world over for his best-seller book, that is the Structure and Reproduction of the Algae. Then in the option B, that is T.B. Desikacharya. That is the Thomarapu Vedanta Desikacharya was an eminent phycologist of India and a legend in algal research. He had published a large number of research papers and many books in the field of algae, and he was the first Indian algologist to use the electron microscope on studies of the diatom frustulu and highlight the implication in taxonomy. And he was the first to initiate use of the numerical taxonomy of blue-green algae. Then in the last option, that is G.M. Smith, that is Professor Gilbert Morgan Smith, was an eminent worker in the field of phycology. He was a good teacher. He first wrote a book named A Textbook of General Botany. Okay, but here the correct answer is option C. Then next question, which algae used to obtain bromine? Option A, Rhodomela. Option B, Cotleria. Option C, Alaria. Option D, Tribonema. We know red algae are rich in bromine, particularly the members of the Rhodomelaceae family. Okay, so here Rhodomela, it is a marine red algae and it is used to obtain the bromine. Then see the other option, that is Cotleria. Cotleria is a brown algae. We know generally potash, iodine are extracted from the brown algae. Okay, then in option C, that is Alaria. Alaria is also a genus of brown algae and it is an edible seaweed. It is rich in sugar, vitamins and contains moderate levels of proteins. Then in the last option, that is Tribonema, it is a yellow-green algae, that is it belongs to the algal class Xanthophyceae. Okay, so here the correct answer is option A, that is Rhodomela, the algae used to obtain bromine. Then question number 15, select the correct pair of epiphytic algae. Option A, Protoderma on back of tortoise. It is a correct statement but not correct answer. Why? Because we know epiphytic algae are grow on the larger algae or on the bryophytes or on the angiospermic plant. But here Protoderma is a green algae that grow on the back of the tortoise. So Protoderma is a epizoic algae. Epizoic algae means the algae which grow on the other animals. So option A is the correct statement but not the correct option, right? Then in the option B, that is Rivularia upon the lemna. It is a incorrect statement. Why? We know Rivularia is a cyanobacteria which grows on the damp soil, moist rock and submerged stone near the rivers. So Rivularia, it is not grow on the lemna. Okay. Then in the option C, that is Trichophilus on sloth bear. Again it is a correct statement but not the correct answer. Why? Because Trichophilus is a green alga are found growing in the 4 of the certain sloth species. Okay, so Trichophilus is a epizootic algae. Then in the last option, that is Bulbokitty upon the Cladophora. Yes, it is correct statement. As we know that Bulbokitty is a genus of filamentous green algae that commonly grows on submerged aquatic plant and on other filamentous algae, for example Cladophora. Okay, so Bulbokitty is a epiphytic algae which grow upon the other algae Cladophora. Okay, so here the correct answer is option D. Then next question, in some algae, the protoplast of vegetative cells directly functions as spores called option A statospores, option B neutral spores, option C autospores, option D hypnospores. Here the correct option is option B, that is neutral spore. For example, in the algae Asterocystus, the neutral spores are liberated by the rupture of the gelatinous sheath of the filament, after which it secretes a wall, settles on the substratum and grows into a new filament. Okay? Then see the other option, that is statospore. Statospores are thick-walled resting spores found in the certain algae. Generally, they are found in some members of Xanthophyceae and in Bacillariophyceae. Then in the option C, that is autospores. The spores with a structure similar to the parent cell are called autospores. Okay, so autospores are in fact replica of the parent cell. Then in the last option, that is hypnospore. Hypnospores are non-motile, thick-walled resting spores. These are formed to overcome the prolonged period of the desiccation. For example, the hypnospores of Chlamydomonas nivalis are red in color due to the deposition of a pigment, that is hematochrome, in their cell wall. So it forms the red snow. Okay. But here in some algae, the protoplast of vegetative cells directly function as spores called neutral spores. So here the option B is the correct answer. Then next question, a nitrogen fixing algae associated with azolla in rice field is option A spirulina, option B fucus, option C anabena, option D Tolipothrix. Here the correct answer is anabena. Okay. We know anabena is a heterocystous filamentous nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria that is naturally growing symbiotically in a specialized leaf cavities of a water fern, that is Azolla pinnata. Okay. We know Azolla is a pteridophyte. Specifically, the species Anabena azoli, which is a cyanobacteria that forms a symbiotic relationship with the pteridophyte Azolla. Okay, and allowing it to fix the atmospheric nitrogen and provide it to the plant. Okay, so here a nitrogen fixing algae, that is Anabena, which is associated with the Azolla in rice field. Okay, so here the correct answer is option C. Then see the other option, that is spirulina. We know spirulina is also a type of blue-green algae which is highly nutritious and a great source of protein. Then in the option B, that is fucus. We know fucus is a brown algae and which is commonly called rockweed. Then in the last option, that is Tolipothrix. We know Tolipothrix is also a genus of cyanobacteria which shows false branching type of thallus organization. Okay. Then next question, black snow is caused by option A Schitonema, option B Scotiella, option C Raphidonemma, option D both B and C. Here the correct answer is option D, that is both Scotiella and Rhapidonema caused black snow. Here remember the particular species, that is Scotiella nivalis, other name is Chloromonas nivalis. It grows in or near the snow, and Rhapidonema is a genus of filamentous green algae, and both are responsible for formation of black snow. Okay. Then in the option A, that is Schitonema. We know Schitonema is a cyanobacteria. It shows the false branching. The false branches appear in pairs diverging away from the original filament. Okay. Then next question. Correct statement is option A, clump formation seen in algae. Yes, it is the correct statement. We know clump formation seen in brown algae, that is in ectocarpus. So what is clump formation? It is the process by which the active male gametes cluster around a passive female gamete. This process occurs during the sexual reproduction of the algae ectocarpus. Here the female gametes secrete a chemical and the male gametes are attached to the female gamete and cluster around it. The male gametes attach to the female gamete using their flagella, okay, and one male gamete fuses with the female gamete and the remaining male gametes swim away and are eventually destroyed. So in this situation, the active male gametes cluster around a passive female gamete called the clump formation. Okay. Then in option B, clamp connection are found in algae. No, it is a incorrect statement. Why? Because clamp connection is a hook-like structure in certain fungi, not in algae. Okay. So, clamp connection are lateral branches that form bridges over the septa or cross wall in hyphae, okay, which allows the nuclei to move between the hyphal compartment, okay, and this is a characteristic feature of the Basidiomycetian fungi. Then in the option C, crozier formation is found in algae. No, it is also incorrect statement. Crozier formation is found in fungi but not in algae. Generally, crozier formation is the characteristic feature of Ascomycetian fungi. So, crozier are hook-shaped structure that form at the base of the asci. It helps maintain the dikaryotic state of the ascus. Okay, and these are similar to clamp connection on the dikaryotic hyphae of the Basidiomycota. Then in the last option, that is oak moss is a species of algae. No, it is also a incorrect statement. Why? Because oak moss, that is the scientific name is Evernia prunastri, which is a species of lichen, not algae. Okay, and it is found to growing primarily on oak tree, but can be found growing on the pines as well as other soft and hard wood tree. Okay, so here the correct statement is option A, that is clump formation seen in algae. Then last question, which algae commonly called glue weed? Option A, Glyocapsa, option B, Scotiella, option C, Sargassum, option D, Gliopeltis. Here the correct answer is option D, that is Gliopeltis. Okay, so Gliopeltis is a red algae. The particular species, that is Gliopeltis furcata, is used for manufacturing of glue, and this glue is known as funori, okay, and it is used as an adhesive. Okay, so here the correct answer is option D. Then see the other option, that is Glyocapsa. Glyocapsa, it is a genus of cyanobacteria, and the individual colonies are usually spherical, microscopic, and enclosed within larger masses of mucilage. Then option B, that is Scotiella. We know Scotiella nivalis is responsible for formation of black snow. Then in option C, that is Sargassum. We know Sargassum is a genus of brown algae and it is commonly called gulf weed. Okay. But here Gliopeltis, which is commonly called glue weed. Okay, in this video we cover all the 20 multiple choice question with their proper explanation, right? So you must join in the Telegram group for freely attend the quiz in every Sunday. Okay, thank you.